Mukam karoti vachalam.
Mukam karoti vachalam.
Pangum langayate girim.
Pangum langayate girim.
Yat kripatamaham vande.
Yat kripatamaham vande.
Shri Gurum Deenataranam.
Shri Gurun Deenataranam.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Devaki Nandanaya Cha.
Devaki Nandanaya cha.
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya.
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Nama Pankajanabhaya.
Nama Pankajanabhaya.
Nama Pankajamaline.
Nama Pankajamaline.
Nama Pankajanetraya.
Nama Pankajanetraya.
Namaste Pankajangre.
Namaste Pankajandre.
Thank you, Sadananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Also, happy National Yoga Day, Mathaji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Same to you. Hare Krishna. Let's all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra before we start the session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's pay our obeisances to our founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, and our Shiksha Guru Suranath Prabhu, and start this session. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I think where we left off last Bhagavatam class is we were in Canto 2, Chapter 6. Chapter 6 is where we left off, but I'll just quickly give you all a background and then we can get started. Let me see if I can share my screen in a minute. Give me 1 minute. So, Canto 1 is actually Sarga. Sarga is the primary creation is called Sarga. There are 10 subject matters in Bhagavat Mahapurana. Why is it called a Purana? Because it actually talks about all the 10 subjects. Any Purana, any scripture which talks about all the 10 subject matters, Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uti, Manvantara Kata, Ishanukata, and then Nirodha, Ashraya. Those are the 10 subject matters. In Canto 7, Prahlad Maharaj also talks about it, or I think it is in Canto 2 itself, it will come in a few days. So there are 10 subject matters which this any scripture talks about, then it is called a Purana. It's actually called a Mahapurana. And Bhagavatam is one such scripture which talks about all 10 subject matters. Although all the 10 subject matters is there in all the 12 cantos, what is happening is it predominantly talks about one quality, one subject matter in each canto. What happens is if you take Canto 1, all 10 subject matters is there, but it talks about Sarga most predominantly. Or it talks about Sarga, mainly it talks about Sarga. And that's why we say Canto 1 is Sarga, Canto 2 is Visarga. So what is Sarga? Sarga is the creation, primary creation. How Krishna created this universe. How did he create the basic ingredients of creation? Right? Visarga is secondary creation. What is secondary creation? I always give you an example of making a khichdi or paisam or any dish. We have to get the rice from the market, we have to get the utensils, we have to get the ghee, we have to get the jaggery, all these things. The creation of these utensils, rice, jaggery, everything is primary creation. A Mathaji or a Prabhuji who puts together everything and makes the paisam is the secondary creation. Okay. Now, who is the primary creator? Krishna is the only primary creator. Nobody else can create the material ingredients, right? Krishna created that. After he created the basic ingredients, he gives it to Brahma. He asks Brahma's main function is secondary creation. So he asked Brahma to go ahead and do secondary creation. At that point, what happens is Narad Muni comes. Narad Muni is the son of Brahma. Okay, one of the 9 sons of Brahma is Naradji. Naradji walks in and he says he is astonished that his father is praying and doing tapasya. And that is when he questions Brahmaji, saying that I thought you are the creator. How come you are praying to somebody? Whom are you praying to? And that is a sequence or the context in which we are, where Brahma is explaining Naradji how he is just secondary or the helper to create everything. Okay, he initially gives the basics of how every sense organs comes into existence, how water, ether, matter comes into existence. He gave all those things in chapter 5. And at that point, Naraji says, oh, then, the basic ingredients are there. You just took everything and mixed. So you did that. Then Naraji, and then Brahmaji stops him and he says, no, even the secondary creation, although everybody thinks that I am doing it, it is actually Krishna who is doing it, because without Krishna's power, without Krishna's Shakti, all these ingredients do not mix together and amalgamate. And that is when Mahavishnu, as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, as he enters into every atom as Paramatma, as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. He enters into every atom and he energizes everything. Only then was Brahma able to create everything. We are in that sequence. Let me see if we can. And how did Brahma be born? We did cover that a little bit in Canto 2, Chapter 6, how Brahma's existence came into being, how from the navel of Mahavishnu actually his plenary expansion is, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, who enters into every universe. And from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's navel, there is a Brahma Kamala, we say. It is the biggest Kamala or a lotus flower which came out. And in that lotus flower, Brahmaji was born. And when he was born, he didn't know what to do. And there was total darkness. And in that darkness, he heard a voice, Tapa. And then he started meditating for 1,000 years. It is said he meditated. And at that point, Krishna or Mahavishnu manifested in his heart and he asked him to create everything. Even before that, when there was total darkness, what Brahma does is he gets down from that lotus flower, he holds on to the stem and he gets down. He gets to the bottom of it, and then there is that the water, Virija river water. Karanodaka Vishnu is sleeping on that Virija river. He sees that water and then he says, there is no use, there is nobody here. And then he goes back to the lotus flower and then he does a tapasya. And when he does a tapasya, he gets to know that, he has to start creation. And he creates he starts creation. He creates the demigods. He creates the 9 sons of Brahma also manifest. All those things, Daityas, Kumaras, Manus, all these creation happens. And then he continues to talk about how the Lord is in control of both the spiritual and material energy. There is a lot, to understand. There is a lot, but I'm trying to give you the gist of this chapter. This chapter is called as Purusha Kshetra or Purusha. It is about this Purusha Mahapurusha. What is that? It is the manifestation of the Lord in the universe. That means we think that Krishna is existing only in the spiritual world. No, his energy is existing everywhere. In this chapter, it talks about how the rivers which are flowing are like the nerves of the Lord, right? His pada are the patala loka. His entire body is supporting that 14 planetary system. All that is given in this chapter. And further, it goes on to explain how he is not only in control of the spiritual world, but he is also in control of the material energies. Okay. That is what we understand. And we have to take how, Brahma took a very humble position. Even though Brahma is a secondary creator, he has a lot of power. Don't think that he does not have power. He has a lot of power. Imagine if you have to create beings. He induced beings into this world, right? So he has a lot of power, but he still took a humble position and he did a lot of austerities, and then he actually, Lord manifests for him, and he shows him the creation, he shows him the past, present, and the future also. And Lord Krishna says, or Mahavishnu says, see, there is nobody in the universe who's seen what you're seeing. You're so lucky that you're able to see this, because nobody can see what you're seeing, he says. So that is a position of Brahma. Sometimes we underrate the position of Brahma, but he has lot of power. So the best thing for anybody to do is to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. Whether you are, whatever position you are in, whatever circumstance you are in, to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord is very, very important. That is the only thing which can deliver one from birth and rebirth. Why we have to take shelter is because we have to stand above these karma. We have to stand above these gunas of this world. If we have to do that, the only way, because as long as you are in this world, you will face all the miseries and happiness. And you think once the distress is gone, I will find only happiness. That is not true. Okay, it is a mixture of both, and you can never be happy. There's always something, there's always one anxiety waiting for you in your life. And the only way to override that anxiety is to get out of this gunas. The gunas are the only one which is driving you into whether happiness or distress. And how do we override that guna? Only by taking shelter of the Lord. Otherwise, you can't override that. And the minute you take shelter of the Lord, many good things, auspicious things happen. One thing is that you are guna atit. It is not that problems stop happening to you. You are oblivious to those problems. Problems do not affect you anymore. Maya does not have adhikar over you because you are under the shelter of Krishna. Okay. Once that happens, then what happens is, because you're not in karma bandhana, because the gunas are not affecting on you, everything, yed juhosi, yed yagnasi, right? There is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita where it says, whatever I do, whatever I eat, whatever I, do dana, tapa, everything is for the Lord. I do it for the Lord, chapter 9. When we start doing that, the pala which comes out of it is given to the Lord. The minute that happens, there is no karma bandhana for you. You get liberated. Automatically, you get liberated. And that is what Brahmaji is showing all of us. That, don't think because I am Brahma, I've exceeded everything, right? Nobody has exceeded everything except for Krishna. So nobody can completely understand, including Lord. See, the other thing we have to understand about Krishna is he is so magnanimous, he is so inconceivable, he is so unlimited that nobody in this universe, including Lord Shiva, has not completely understood Krishna. It is very difficult to understand Krishna. And the little bit how you can understand Krishna is by offering that devotional service. Once you start offering that devotional service, then you'll understand to some extent what Krishna is. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult to understand. Also in this chapter, we will understand that, Krishna, sometimes this shloka is very important. 2.6.10, the back of the Lord is a place for all kinds of frustration and ignorance. Sometimes we wonder where this bad things come into our life, right? If everything is created by Krishna, what about the sadness that I get, frustration and ignorance that I get? And here in Bhagavatam, it explains it's like the back of the Lord. Every part of the Lord is explained in this chapter. Okay. And it talks about how the back of the Lord is a frustration and ignorance, as well as immortality, right? From his veins flow the great rivers. This is what I was trying to tell you, that the great rivers are like his veins. It's not true that Krishna is standing and the veins are becoming rivers. No, it is the power of Krishna. We are trying to understand how that Purusha is in this material existence, and it is not for devotees. Time and again I keep telling you, don't imagine this as the Lord of your worship. It is impersonalism. People who are in the gross mentality, only when they touch things they can understand. Otherwise, they don't understand the Lord. And the Lord who has manifested, they think is an ordinary person. For them to show that the Lord exists even in the material existence, this has been given, where everything is coming from him. For us devotees, what we have to understand is there is nothing that exists in this world which does not only in this world, in the spiritual world also, which does not belong to Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna only. Even the frustration, ignorance, everything is coming from Krishna. I think we had to start from 2.6.18. We'll start going through that now. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the controller of immortality and fearlessness, and he is transcendental to death and the fruitive actions of the material world. O Narada, O Brahmana, it is therefore difficult to measure the glories of the Supreme Person. Why is it difficult to measure the glories? Because the very existence or the eternity is Krishna. Death personified is Krishna. Abhayam comes from Krishna, right? Abhayam is very, very important. The minute we touch devotion, the minute we touch bhakti, right? Abhayam is bestowed on the person who is doing even little bit of bhakti you do, Abhayam is restored or benedicted to that person. What is that abhayam? The fear of death. A person may say, I'm not afraid of anything, but everybody is afraid of one thing. What is that? Death. So you will be fearless during death. I was actually listening to Chandramouli Maharaj the other day, and he made a very beautiful point. And it was so heart touching, and I could relate to what he was trying to say. He said, Krishna is so merciful. Krishna is so merciful that when devotees are going through some bodily problems or fear of death, at the time of death, there's a lot of pain you will see in the body. It is very difficult to die. People think it is easy to die. It is not easy to die. It is very, very difficult to die. Okay. So there is a lot of pain in the body. Krishna is so merciful that the minute he knows that his devotee is going through the pain of death, he takes them away even before death touches them. What does that mean? The consciousness of a devotee is with Krishna. They are totally in sync, aligned to Krishna consciousness, and Krishna takes that soul out of the body before the body could even start suffering or feel the pain of death. That's why devotees will not feel the pain of death, because Krishna is there to support them. Right? You can see this example in Vritrasura. You can see this example in Bhishma Pitamaha. Vritrasura, when he was about to die, what happened is Indra from inside was drilling a hole in his head, and he was trying to cut his head to come out, because Vritrasura swallows Indra. He tells Indra, fight with me and kill me, Indra is not able to do. He's hesitant. After listening to the Bhagavatam Katha from Vritrasura's mouth, Indra is very scared to kill him. He thinks he's a Mahabhagavat. He is talking about devotion. Such a devotee, how can I kill and get the sins? When I kill him, he is hesitant. And Vritrasura cannot take it any longer. He is in lot of separation from the Lord. He wants to join the Lord. So what he does, he swallows Indra. By that, at least Indra will kill him. When he swallows him, he is cutting from inside. Who? Indra with the Vajrayuda, he is cutting him from inside to come out. At that time, if you read Bhagavatam, it is there. It says that Vritrasura's mind was already with Krishna. His consciousness was under the lotus feet of Krishna. So he never felt the pain, Bhagavatam says. It is the same thing Chandramouli Maharaj was saying, that in a devotee's life, when they are about to leave their body, Krishna takes them away so that, they don't feel the pain. That is this abhayam that we are talking about. Same with Bhishma Pitamaha. If you read Bhishma Stuti, he says, now I want to concentrate on Krishna, he says. That means the minute he concentrates on Krishna, he gives up his body. The arrow bed is very painful. He's been sleeping on it for a long time. And Ichcha Marana, Bhishma Pitamaha had Ichcha Marana. Even for a person who has Ichcha Marana, Marana is the same. Death is the same. Whether you ask for it or Krishna bestows it on you, isn't it? So the pain is there either way. But these people will not feel the pain. These devotees will not feel the pain because Krishna has given that abhayam. How Krishna does what he does, nobody can say. In different people's life, Krishna manifests in different ways. For one, he protects directly. For one, he encourages them and empowers them with knowledge so that they can protect themselves. For some, he sends a messenger. Right? And some it's a combination of all things. Some he directly manifests to protect them. Directly he will manifest. So that abhayam is only with Krishna. Even Lord Rama says in Ramayana that, abhayam is one thing Rama also gives. So Rama or Krishna, they are proprietors of this abhayam, and that's why we have to surrender to them. Brahma is confirming that the Lord is beyond death. Okay, he is beyond death and he is beyond the laws of karma and it cannot bind him. Hence, it is very difficult to perceive and understand Krishna. Why? Because we think, Arey, Krishna killed so many demons. Shouldn't he get the sin? Krishna used to steal butter. Shouldn't he get that sin? No, he will not. In fact, he is glorified for all his activities. Janma karma chime divyam yoveti tatvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma na eti. So Arjuna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 4.7, understand my janma and karma. That is enough for you for this life. Because a person who understands in reality how Krishna came into existence, when he does one action, how karma doesn't bind him. If you can understand that truth, then you will not have Punarjanma, he says. Because when we read Bhagavad Gita, when we read the Krishna book, when we read the Bhagavatam, it feels like many Mathajis will have this feeling. Krishna stole butter, or he played with the gopis, or he played with Yashoda Maya. Yashoda Maya chased him when he, messed up the house. When they hear stories like that, what is the first thing which comes to their mind? Arey, my child also does this. What's so great? It is not that simple. Chapter 9 and 10 of Bhagavad Gita and even 11 when we read it, we understand the magnanimity of the Lord. Imagine the Lord who has created this 14 planetary system. He is so great. If you look at a beautiful flower, Okay, the worlds in the flower and the smell it gives and the color it has, the texture that it has. One flower is totally different from the other flower. Imagine the architect who's created all this. Imagine a person who's given us this body. Don't go too far, just look at your own body. It has a digestive system, it has the thirst through which you can drink water, it has blood flowing through the veins. There is no extra machine needed outside to monitor your body, and there is a time when it stops working. Isn't it? Isn't it so beautiful? So when you understand these things at a deeper level, you will understand the magnanimity of the Lord. Once you understand the magnanimity of the Lord, then you will understand such a Lord is manifesting as a child to play with Yashoda Maya. It is very, very difficult. So that's why he says, once one who understands, it's very difficult to conceive this. See, even I could not understand most of it before coming into Krishna consciousness. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said something, that's all I knew. But there is so many things, even in one word, what Krishna has used, why he has used that word, what is his intention, how is he influencing somebody, and what is the background story behind that. When you understand all these things, he has inconceivable potencies. You cannot understand Krishna's potency. Nobody can measure him. And that's why Brahma uses the second word here, aprameya. This is a common word where whoever is, doing chanting of Vishnu Sahasranama and Lalita Sahasranama and things like that, it comes in that. Aprameya. Aprameya means a person who cannot be conceived by direct touch or by these senses. He is beyond these senses. He is beyond the knowledge that we have. And that's why to understand Krishna's power is very difficult. And this is what Brahma is explaining to Naraji, that you can't conceive his powers. He is magnanimous. Padma Purana says that those planets in the spiritual sky, which comprises of 75% of the expansion of the internal potency of the Lord. This is very, very important. Just give me 1 minute, I'll explain you what it is. Second reference is Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it says, if you take a bucket of mustard seeds, right? How many mustard seeds are there, right? One mustard seed, if you think of it like an universe, take a bucket full of mustard seeds. That is the number of universes which are existing. Okay, each mustard seed is equal to one universe. So you can imagine the power of Krishna. All that put together in the material world is only 1/4 of Krishna's creation. The 3/4 of the creation is in the spiritual world. Okay, and this is very difficult to comprehend, but we think, array, there are so many people in this world. In one country there are billions of people, isn't it? But Krishna and Brahma is saying here, one universe is like one mustard seed. If you have a bucket of mustard seed, those many universes are existing in the material existence. Now he is going to define the qualities in the spiritual existence. What is spiritual existence? Planets in the spiritual spiritual sky are at least 3 times the number of what is there in material. If one bucket is existing, one bucket of mustard seed, universes are existing in the material world, 3 buckets are existing in the spiritual world. And that's why in the total count, 3/4 is spiritual world, 1/4 is alone this material world. Whoever comes to this material world has actually done some crime, and that's why they're coming. In any country, if you see, the jail will not be bigger than the country. The jail will be a smaller place. That means the number of people who are doing mistakes is small. Hopefully, it remains the same. With the present nation and the way the country is going, I think we need bigger jails very soon. But currently, the jails are smaller. In the same way, this material world is smaller. It is only 1/4. Spiritual world is 3/4. In that spiritual world, all liberated souls are only there. Okay, and then it is also said when Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, see there is Mahavishnu, okay, Mahavishnu is breathing. When he breathes, breath is coming out, universes are coming out of him, okay, and in each of the universe, this Mahavishnu expands himself and he becomes Garbhodakashayi Vishnu to enter each of these pores which are coming out of Mahavishnu's body. That Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, when he entered the universe, 10 fingers short the universe was for him. So you can imagine the size of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. The reference for this is in Purusha Sukta. There is a song called Purusha Sukta or a bhajan called Purusha Sukta where it says, the Lord, when he slept in the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, when he slept on the universe, his leg projected outside the universe 10 fingers. That much space was less for the Lord to sleep in the universe. Okay, so you can imagine how magnanimous, how big the Lord is, right? Transcendental to the material modes, is that we know. Mode of unalloyed goodness only. So in spiritual world, when sometimes we think, why is it so difficult for us to enter into the spiritual world? That is because it is in total goodness. There is no tinge of any other rajo or tamoguna. 100% it is in goodness. And everybody who is existing there is in 100% goodness. Concept of spiritual bliss. The Paramananda is complete there. Here you can see that Paramananda only one drop. Where can you see that drop? Anybody can tell me? One drop of Paramananda can be found in this material world. Where is it found? It's not Paramananda, a little bit of Ananda you can find, or that bliss is there. That rasa is there. A tinge of it is there.
Is it in tears?
Sorry, Mathaji?
Is it in our tears?
Tears, no, it's not that. We would cry for many things, for many material things also we cry. Yes, in chanting. Chanting also, Mataji, it's not pure. We are bhakti, but where is it in the material world? Where is it? Between a mother and a child.
Devotional
That
service.
rasa.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. That is there in a mother and a child. If you look at the mother and the child, it is inconceivable love between them. There is no expectation or return on investment there. Rest of all the other transaction is worldly transaction, but only between a mother and a child that you can find. And I think as a child is growing big, that also is gone. When the child is small, only you can find that, I feel nowadays. As a child grows up, it's changing nowadays. But between a mother and a child, it is there, it is still there, and it says it is just a drop. It's a tinge that you can see of reflection of that true love that exists in the spiritual world. Each of them is eternal, indestructible, free from all kinds of limitations. See, spiritual world is eternal, it cannot be destroyed, and it has no limitation, and it is self-effulgent. See, here we have one sun which is giving us light. There are the light is so much as if you've put millions of suns together, but it is self-illuminating because it is spiritual. It has power. Even the non-moving things which are existing also have power there, not like in the material world. Okay, the inhabitants of those planets are liberated from birth, death, old age, and disease, and have full knowledge of everything. See, this is existing even in the material world with our Atma. Atma knows everything. Bhagavad Gita is not new for your Atma. The Atma knows everything. What is the problem? Problem is avidya. The covering that is there is a problem for us. But the Atma is Satchitananda only. It is the same constitution as Krishna. And it is eternal. Shashvatoham. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. that the Atma is Shashvata, it doesn't die, it doesn't get diseased, it has no suffering, nothing at all, and it is full of knowledge. It is not that Bhagavad Gita knowledge is new for you. It is all, you already know it. Bhagavatam is not new for you. You already know it. Only thing is avidya is covering and it all seems new right now. So the same thing when we break open that covering, the pure self, what is there is what is existing in the spiritual world. They are all godly and free from all sorts of material anchorings. What is the worst thing that has happened to us? Why is that covering on us? Only because of desire. The day we give up that desire, that anchoring, there is some kind of, what to say, the chain, the clutches of that chain is holding us. That chain should be broke open. The minute we break open from one chain, we are locking ourselves with 10 more chains. Why? Because after one desire, we get 10 more desires. It's a human body is bombarded with so many desires that will hold you back in this material world. And the entire process or the strategy of spiritual life is changing this material desires into spiritual desires. Entire process is for that. We are replacing our material desire with spiritual desire. They have nothing to do there except render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Narayana, who is predominating deity of such Vaikuntha planets. So there is no other work they have except for glorifying the Lord and being in devotion. Liberated souls are engaged instantly in singing songs mentioned in the Samaveda. Okay, now I explained that 3/4 is spiritual, 1/4 is material, and there is a word for that, and it will be used constantly. Tripada Vibhuti. Vibhuti means Aishwarya or opulence. Tripada Vibhuti means it is spiritual world. Ekapada Vibhuti means it is material. Why Ekapada? Because it is 1/4. Ekapada, one leg, right? Three other legs or three-fourth of that fraction is spiritual, which is called as Tripada Vibhuti. Okay, that is a terminology used. The Lord and his eternal servitors in the transcendental kingdom are all eternal, auspicious, infallible. They will never fall into this material existence because they don't have any anchoring and they are always youthful. See, they're always youthful. There is no old age, there is no disease, there is no death. It is always existing. And that's why Bhagavatam refers to it as Amrit. What is Amrit? The quality of Amrit is that you're not going to die at all. And that is what spiritual world is. And that's why Krishna is Amrit. Because he is immortal. There is no, and immortality comes from Krishna only. It is, he can only award it for you. Nobody else can award it. Even greatest of the greatest cannot award this immortality. Mukti Pradata, only Mukunda. Nobody else can give you that. Okay, even Brahma, Shiva, nobody can give you that. Only Krishna can give you that. The nature of the spirit as stated in the Vedanta Sutra is Anandamayo Bhashyata. The spirit is by nature full of happiness. This is what your soul is actually happy. It does not require anything. And this happiness is this Anandamayo Bhashyat. This is exactly how the soul, definition of a soul is Anandamayo. See, there are different coverings for your soul. Annamaya, then Manasmaya. There are 5 different coverings. It comes in the Bhagavad Gita itself. The last one is Anandamaya. See, the soul is actually going transformation in the sense it is becoming, no, it is breaking that covering and throwing it down. Okay, the first existence is thinking that only if I eat I will live. Okay, second existence is through breathing I can live. The third existence is mind is the one which is making me live. So it is different levels of understanding. And the last one is that Anandamaya, where you have perfected your life in that tapasya, in that trance. When you're doing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you just are in sync with the Lord, total sync. That is that Anandamaya Pashat. That means you have broken down all barriers, you've broken down all coverings, and you're one with the Lord. And that soul is always like that because it does not know. Only because we have this wrapper around us, we are not happy today. That is what this is saying. And people in spiritual world are always Anandamaya. Happiness in spiritual nature always increases in volume with a new phase of appreciation. There is no question of decreasing in bliss. In the mundane world, there is always influence of time which changes things from one stage to another. This is our problem, avikara. That means we are always changing. Why? Because the time factor fructifies your karmas. It will bring the joy and the distress in your life, which is causing a pain. The influence of time is what is impacting, but the concept of time is not there in the spiritual world. The concept of karma is not there in the spiritual world, and that's why they are always in bliss. Total manifestation of the Sannidhi energy of the Lord, 1/4 is displayed in the material. Sandhini Shakti, the Lord has 3 Shaktis, Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini. Samvit is the knowledge part of it. Ladini is the happiness part of it. And Sandhini is the eternity part of it. It is actually the full manifestation of existence. This tells the Sandhini is the existence. Material world is existing only under the power of Sandhini's Shakti. Krishna's Sandhini Shakti is the one which is supporting our existence, both spiritual and material. And the knowledge is Samvit, bliss is that Ladini Shakti. In the material world, such a sense of existence, knowledge, and pleasure is meagerly exhibited. See, it is in full potency. In the spiritual world, the Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini is in full potency. And that's why they are always happy. But here it is marginal. It is minute existence of that Shakti. When there is minute existence of that Shakti, we cannot feel complete pleasure there. The liberated soul who exists in far greater numerical strength than those souls in the material world can factually experience the potency of the above Sandhini, Samvit, and Ladini energies of the Lord in the matter of deathlessness. How do they experience this? Sandhini is existence. Existence becomes, for us, it is temporary. 80 years, 70 years, it is minute existence. But in spiritual, it is eternal. There is no death only. So it is 100%. Samvit is that fearlessness. No matter that knowledge is always there. For us, what happens is when we are in this class, we know Krishna is there. But the minute we go out of the class, we forget Krishna. The forgetfulness of Krishna is the one which causes that fearlessness. And that's why Prabhupada again and again, and in ISKCON, many Maharajas again and again say what? Read Prabhupada's books. Because that knowledge, when it becomes the power, then that fearlessness comes. When knowledge is always existing, then you will not forget Krishna. When you don't forget Krishna, then you will have that abhayam. And then finally, you are so happy. Then that freedom automatically comes, right? Because there is nothing to worry about. You will have even happiness in full potency. So old age, disease, fearlessness, everything is there in the spiritual world. You are getting a shield from old age, disease, not being existent, right? There is no expiration date because Sannidhi is in full potency there. Samvit is in full potency. So no matter what, even if I fall, Krishna is there for me. Even if a serpent comes and bites, Krishna is there for me. Even if a demon comes, Krishna is there for me. right? And there are no diseases. Obviously, when Krishna is there, nothing can touch us. Even if it comes, we will be happy, right? So that is the essence, that all this is being told by Brahmaji to his son Naraji, saying, oh, you think I am the creator? You think I am the one who is doing all this? No, it is Krishna. It is Krishna only everywhere. That is what he is trying to say. I don't know what the time is. Hare Krishna Prabhu. And do we want to continue? I can keep talking.
It's
That's why
10 minutes past 7, Mathaji. Like, you want to conclude it that, Mathaji, or are we good?
And no, Prabhu, I think, see, we are in the 18th verse, I think. There are 48 verses in this chapter. Let me just.
Then we will, yeah, probably then we need more time, Mathaji. So then we will switch back
Yeah,
to.
correct. So I thought I'll do at least 3 or 4 verses. This verse was very good. So I continue to, yeah, this is called Purusha Sukta confirmed. That means the Purusha Sukta details are given, how the Lord is Purusha, Parama Purusha, right? And we are, I think, in the 18th, yeah, immortality. This is one verse, like all the other people, I did just one verse today.
Sure, Mathaji. Yeah, we will pick it up from